Good morning. Get your glasses. We're going to sing Grandma's Spectacles. Here are Grandma's spectacles and here is Grandma's hat. This is the way she folds her hands and puts them in her lap. Here are Grandpa's spectacles and here is Grandpa's hat. This is the way he folds his arms and sits like that. Okay, now we're going to do a wiggle song. Start with your thumbs. Let me see your thumbs wiggle. My thumbs are starting to wiggle, my thumbs are starting to wiggle, my thumbs are starting to wiggle, and now so are my hands. My hands are starting to wiggle, my hands are starting to wiggle, my hands are starting to wiggle, and now so are my arms. My arms are starting to wiggle, my arms are starting to wiggle, my arms are starting to wiggle, and now so are my toes. My toes are starting to wiggle, my toes are starting to wiggle, my toes are starting to wiggle, and now so are my feet. My feet are starting to wiggle, my feet are starting to wiggle, my feet are starting to wiggle, and now so are my legs. My legs are starting to wiggle, my legs are starting to wiggle, my legs are starting to wiggle. Uh-oh. My body is starting to wiggle, my body is starting to wiggle, my body is starting to wiggle, around, around, around. That was a silly one. Okay, now I'm ready for a snack after that. I'm gonna make some pizza. Here we go. White crust, white crust. White crust, white crust. What do I see? I see, what color? Pretty red sauce looking at me. Red sauce, what do I see? I see 1, 2, what color? Pretty green peppers looking at me. Green peppers, what do I see? I see 1, 2, what color are these? 2, brown mushrooms looking at me. Brown mushrooms, what do I see? Oh, yummy. I see 1 orange pepperoni looking at me. Orange pepperoni, what do I see? Okay, we have to count. 1, 2, 3, 4 black olives looking at me. Black olives, what do I see? Okay, here we go again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yellow cheeses looking at me. Yellow cheese, what do I see? I see a silly pizza man looking at me. Okay, pizza man, I'm going to eat you up. Put you right here. And a good pizza snack. Now we have our story today about a little elephant. Excuse me. It's called All by Myself by Ivan Bates. Every morning, Maya and her mother had breakfast together. Maya's mother would reach her long trunk high into the branches of a tree and pick the juiciest leaves for them to eat together. But one morning, just as her mother was about to reach up and pick some leaves for breakfast, Maya said, "I want to do it." "But you are just a little elephant," said her mother. "I want to do it," said Maya, "all by myself." "Very well," said her mother. Maya looked at the tree. It was very tall. The leaves seemed very far away. She thought for a bit. Then she picked up a branch that was lying on the ground and, stretching up as high as she could, swish! She swished at the branches above, trying to knock the leaves down. The branches swayed and shook, but the leaves did not fall down. An old lion who was snoozing nearby came to see what all the swishing was about. "I can climb the tree with my claws and pick you some leaves if you like," he growled sleepily. "No, thank you," said Maya politely. "I want to do it all by myself." Maya thought some more. Then she had another idea. She ran down to the water hole. There she stretched out her trunk and sucked up as much water as she could. When her trunk was full, she ran back to the tree, pointed her trunk, and blew. Whoosh! The water whooshed into the tree, getting everyone wet. The branches splashed and dripped. But the leaves did not fall down. A bird who had been sunbathing at the top of the tree came down to see what all the whooshing was about. "What do you think you're doing?" she squawked, flapping water off her wings. When Maya explained, the bird chirped, "I can fly to the top of the tree and pick you some leaves if you like." "No, thank you," said Maya. "I want to do it all by myself." Maya looked up at the tree and thought very hard. Then she stepped back 3 paces, took a deep breath, and charged at the tree, pushing the trunk as hard as she could. Bump! But the tree did not move, and the leaves did not fall. "My head hurts," said Maya sadly. Suddenly a snake appeared from underneath a rock. "If you like," he hissed, "I can slither up and pick you some leaves." "No, thank you," Maya whispered. "I want to do it all by myself." But this time Maya had no ideas. It was such a tall tree, and she was only a little elephant. Then a voice she knew very well said gently, "I have an idea." And with that, Maya's mother carefully slipped her long tusks under Maya, and curling her trunk around her little elephant, she lifted her high into the branches of the tall tree. Maya stretched out her trunk and picked all the juiciest and greenest leaves she could, all by herself. Maya was a very happy little elephant, and her mother was a very proud mother. Together they ate their breakfast, and Maya thought it was the very best breakfast she'd ever had. Then together they strolled off across the plains as the sun rose in the sky. They worked it out all by myself. All right, we have some jungle animals that are going to visit us. Let's get out the lion. The lion in the jungle says, "Roar, roar, 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 roar." The lion in the jungle says, "Roar, roar, roar," all day long. And we have a friendly, what is it? Are you a tiger? The tiger in the jungle says, "Grr, grr, 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 grr." The tiger in the jungle says, "Grr, grr, grr," all day long. And, a friendly frog. The frog in the jungle says, "Ribbit, ribbit, 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 ribbit." The frog in the jungle says, "Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit," all day long. Oh, and who are you so pretty? Who are you? Oh, pretty parrot. Aren't you pretty? The parrot in the jungle says, "Squawk, squawk, 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 squawk." The parrot in the jungle says, "Squawk, squawk, squawk," all day long. All right. We hope you enjoy your day, and we'll see you back here again. Bye-bye.